Hi, I'm Rob, and in this Gems of War video, going to take a look in the Soulforge, tell you what I think is good and bad in there. Going to show you a core team for the Wild event, and a Underspire team too. But let's start off with this weekly event troop, the Woodseer. Let's take a look at this, see what it does. Does magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by green gems, and if the enemy is a daemon, deal double damage and entangle them. So, a low amount of damage ordinarily, but more effective against daemons. So, yeah, it can be okay in that situation, but still nothing too fantastic. Allied Wargear gain 2 life, gain 1 magic when an ally casts a spell, and gain bonus green mana from green gem matches. So, yeah, traits are okay-ish, I suppose, for that kind of thing, but always get these things to Mythic level if you can spare to glory. Let's do that, let's get that stuff done, thank you very much. Anyway, someone broke into my house and stole all my coffee cups. I'm going to the police station to look at mugshots. Ah, yes. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, what was I doing? What was I doing next? Yes, the Soul of the Forge. Soulforge first. Let's take a look in here, see what's going on. Right, now I'm going to go over all the ones that are here all the time, all these weapons that are here on a weekly basis. They're in my Soulforge extra video. I'll put a link to that in the description below. But the first weapon here that's not here on a weekly basis is Hope's Crescent. Eliminate all armor from an enemy and deal magic-based damage. If the enemy's life is greater, deal triple damage. So if the enemy's life is higher than yours, a decent amount of damage. Not too bad in those situations. Doomed Glaive. Fantastic doomed weapon. Deal magic +3 damage to all enemies with a +1 per tempering level boost. Convert brown gems to doom skulls, and if the enemy has a doom, create 5 more. Then gain 3 mana for each green enemy. So really good weapon, and the upgrades are kind of the icing on the cake. Things like tangling and leaf just polish it off. It uses green itself, so it causes a leaf storm straight after to get it charged again. And if you convert those brown gems to doom skulls, and you do that in a way so you get a 4 match, you're going to explode those gems and those doom skulls, which basically do damage to the enemy, as well as gain mana back, as well as you've already got a leaf storm going on this. And you cut those skulls and entangle the first enemy. So if they don't die, they can't hit you back with any skulls remaining. Really, really good, and damaged all at the same time to top it off. Fantastic weapon, the Doomed Glaive. Absolutely one to pick up today for sure. The Wolf Hammer. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by Morgrim Woods allies, then create a mix of 6 blue and green gems for each Morgrim Woods ally. Uses red and brown, creates blue and green. So basically you need to have at least a couple of other Morgrim Woods allies in your team to make the most of all that mana. Otherwise you're doing it for nothing, but you don't want to do it for nothing, you want to do it for something. And a Dagger of Morgrim. Remove all green gems. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy, boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Morgrim Woods or the battle is in Morgrim Woods, deal double damage. So this is kind of the anti-Morgrim Woods weapon in a way. You don't really use them much, but they're ever so cheap to craft at a mere 75 diamonds, and they give you another weapon from a kingdom, which is a good thing, because when you upgrade a certain amount of weapons from kingdoms to the maximum level, you can actually get kingdom upgrades and things like that. So definitely worth picking up for the cheapness of that ease of upgrade. Lupine's Edge. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy boosted by Wargear allies. Then create a mix of 6 green and red gems for each Wargear ally. Similar to the other one, but this uses blue and yellow, creates green and red, so make sure you've got a couple of Wargears at least in your team that use green and or red. If I feel sound a bit nasally today or whatever, it's because I've got a really blocked up nose. Got a cold or something, or allergies. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I've got a blocked up nose, so I'm starting to bit like that sometimes, or whatever, you know, like that, whatever that is. Bit of tea fixes nearly everything. Devil's Bane. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy with a 4% chance to kill them, boosted by daemon enemies. Not a fan of these percentage chance to kill things, unless it's a decent amount, but yeah, whatever. Moonblade. Deal magic-based damage to an enemy, then convert 3 gems of one of their mana colours to lycanthropy gems, with no chance of an extra turn. So basically you're changing 3 gems of one of their mana colours to lycanthropy gems for them to maybe match them and give you lycanthropy, or cast someone that explodes or destroys gems and give you lycanthropy. Brilliant. Thanks for that. Wand of Stars, say it every week. If you haven't got it already, just go and get it. But get the Doomed Glaive weapon, whatever it was, first, because that's not here every week. This is here every week. So basically, you don't want to miss out on the Doomed Glaive if you can only craft one. If it takes resources away, which means you can't craft this at the same time. But this is a fantastic weapon. Get it as soon as you can. 6 elemental stars created. Bless all allies, or create 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies. Really, really great weapon. Can backfire sometimes, but like I say, get this first. It's there. This is there every week. The Wand of Stars. Doomed Glaive isn't. What's next? Any more for any more? Vampiric Mark. Deal damage to an enemy, and if they have Hunter's Mark, steal 6 life from them. Collectible. Never going to use it. Path of the Wolf. Deal damage to an enemy boosted by purple allies and wargate allies. And oh, I was reading that as if I was expecting something else. But yeah, some basic damage with a boost. Nothing again. Fantastic. The Doomed Foreshard. Deal magic-based damage to the first 2 enemies with a +2 per temporary level boost. Create 2 green gems for each green ally and enemy. If the enemy has a doom, gain a random status effect. These, this is an okay one. It's got tangling as part of the upgrade, which is good. But these doomed weapons now that create the colours like this creates a lot of green. These are really handy now on the journey events. So I do tend to use the doomed weapons like this of its relevant colour for the journey events, because they do enhance that, because they give you extra colours to get extra turns, which is kind of the point of journey. But that is it for the weapons. Let's pop over to the troops now. Always have a look through these summoning stones, especially if you're a newer player to the game. You're looking for goblins, looking for empowered troops, anyone that's good. Rowan, if you're a new player and you haven't got Rowan yet, just use some summoning stones. Use some summoning stones, because she's really, really good. Absolutely one of the essential troops to pick up in the early stages of the game. So if you're new, you haven't got her, use some of these summoning stones, because she's awesome. Scatter damage boosted by her armor, and she'll just get better and better as your armor increases as you play the game. Fundingus, really, really good goblin. Goblins always get an extra turn. Explode magic +1 purple gems, then summon either a giant toadstool or an explode stool and gain an extra turn. And the traits are okay-ish, but yeah, goblins are goblins, and they are important to get. And red ones, anybody interested in there? Not so much so. Same. Skeleros is pretty good for fun. Double the number of skulls on the board, then create 2 skulls. If there's a lot of skulls there already, that pretty much is going to create a hell of a load of damage on the enemy with a load of skulls. Thrall, really good as well, destroying gems, but it's based on your magic. If you're a lower level player, he starts off rubbish, but as you grow with the game and get better and better, he just gets better and better. And anybody over there? Not particularly. Yeah, but have a look through there and see who you fancy and see if you can pick them up. Right, let's look at the mythics now. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up. The dragon on rotation is Nebuladrix. So if this is the last one on your path to getting Stellarix, then I would say it's worth the extra Dragonite. It stops you getting just constant duplicates, which can be really, really annoying. And you're guaranteed to move on to the last couple of phases to make sure you pick up Stellarix. Because, yeah, up to you though. Player's choice. I know what I'd rather do though. Spend the extra to guarantee it. But each to their own. Salamandria, the first mythic. Explode all burning gems. Deal magic-based true damage to the first 2 enemies, boosted by burning gems destroyed. It's not an enormous amount of true damage. It does explode the burning gems though, which means it can generate mana at the same time. It does create 2 burning gems when matching 4 or more gems, and gets bonus red from red gem matches. But nothing special about her. And yeah, same goes really for Dread Captain Grimm. Magic-based damage to all enemies, not a lot. Magic +2 by the look of it. Boosted by booty gems and my treasure maps. Then create 2 booty gems and gain 2 treasure maps. We love treasure maps, don't we? Gain 1 booty gem when my turn begins. Undying and Greedy. He's pretty meh. Who's next? All Possessed King is a bit more like it. One of those mythics, it's really good. Not so much for the spell, because that can actually get you into a bit of bother. Does do damage to all enemies though, boosted by both daemon allies and enemies. And there are 3 separate 20% chances to transform a random enemy into a daemon. Now when you cast that and you nearly kill someone, or they're quite near to death, it would only, would have been one more cast or something to finish them off, and they get transformed into a daemon, which is much more powerful than the one that was there in the first place. That can actually be a really annoying spell, and that does happen, so you've got to be wary of that. But you're getting this for the unstable possession. Explode 2 random gems on 4 or 5 gem matches. Can't underestimate or explain, unless you know, how good that is. 4 or 5 gem matches, though, the explosion, you just get cheap mana so easily. It's just nuts, and it is really good. Worth picking up just for that alone. So the Possessed King, really, really a good mythic. Absolutely fantastic. Jotnar Storm Shield. He's a bit janky these days. Deal magic-based true damage to an enemy, boosted by barriered allies and giant allies. Showing his age, he's been out absolutely ages, and the power creep in the game has left him long behind, and you pretty much don't see him in teams anymore, unless it's somehow forced, like, by divine giants whose first name starts with Jotnar, maybe. That'd be a bit rubbish. Anyway, and the traits are nothing great either. I mean, Storm Shield's pretty good. Give a random ally a barrier on 4 or 5 gem matches, but yeah. He's been left behind a bit by the power creep of the game, like I said. Let's go over the legendaries ever so quickly. Kroarg the Dread. Deal damage to the last 2 enemies, and if there are 13 or more red gems, summon a random daemon. 5% chance to devour on skull damage is interesting if it's in first place, because it's impervious as well, which means it can't be root trapped and all that malarkey, which a lot of people like to do root trap if you're against skull based teams and things like that. And when you create skulls, that 5% might come in. It's 1 in 20, but it can happen, and it does happen. Spooky Imp. Scatter damage to all enemies, and either transform a random enemy into a wraith, or all allies gain 3 magic. Transforming enemies into random things is actually a really good part of spells, because yeah, you got basically got 50-50 chance of that happening when you cast that. So yeah, better than it looks, that thing. As well as gain 8 magic on purple gem matches. You get bonus purple as well by that magic link. So yeah, Spooky Imp, really pretty good. Who else we have? Glaceon. Very, very dangerous troop. Reduces damage from skulls by 65%, meaning it's pretty safe up top. And gains 3 attack when an enemy matches skulls, and then transforms yellow gems to blue and red to doom skulls and frees the strongest enemies. It can be a very dangerous troop indeed, Glaceon. And is there one more somewhere? Yes, there is. Toozy the Floozy. Give magic +1 life to all allies, then create 9 yellow gems boosted by enchanted allies. So basic life to all, creation of yellow. Make sure you've got a couple of yellow using troops, or at least one in your team to benefit from that, obviously. Moon Festival. Sound intriguing. 30% chance to enchant a random ally when an ally casts a spell is the best one of the traits, but they're all useful. Reduce damage from spells by 25% is okay too, as is a mana shield. But who gets my what was that about? Mythic of the week. Well, it's not going to be Salamandra because she's a bit rubbish. Dread Captain Grimm's a bit rubbish as well. Who's the other 2? Oh yeah, Jotnar guy, he's rubbish too. So it goes to the Possessed King by pretty much default. But he is really, really good anyway. That unstable possession is absolutely fantastic, even if the spell can sometimes get you into a little bit of bother. So Possessed King, my Mythic of the Week. Now onto the World Event team for the Forbidden Forest. World Events are fun. You get a medal which you can evolve. It starts off as a token of omens. In this case, evolves to a badge of omens where you get 40% skull and spell damage, but collect enough of them, you'll upgrade it to a medal of omens where you get a whopping 160% skull and spell damage for all troops in this event. Really, really cool. Now there are 6 different battles you can encounter here. You can fight the Ancient Horror, Zathoth, Eldritch Disciple, Uvashkar, Scion, or the Elder Dragon. They're worth a different number of points that is on the screen now, so just basically always fight the battle, which gives you the highest amount of points possible, and move on. So simple as that. From the shop, make sure you grab at least tier 1 and tier 2 if you can. Really, really important. The tier 1, you pick up the various rewards like the shards, the souls, the gold, and bits and bobs like that, but you also get the potion of enchantment. Enchant all allies at the start of battle for this event only. Really, really important. Just makes things happen that much faster, and you pick up some tokens of omens at the same time. Tier 2, you pick up more of the same, but you also get the potion of explosion, which explodes 4 gems at the start of battle, again for this event only. Really, really cool. Combined with the potion of enchantment, that game gets the team going really quickly, and again you get more tokens to evolve your badge eventually into the medal, and it's on to the team. And there are obviously more tiers if you want to go beyond, but tier 1 and tier 2 basically essential, I would say. Right, for the team for this, really straightforward team. You can go to Judge of the Dead, dealing damage to all enemies boosted by his souls, and also gains 3 souls when an ally casts a spell. So whenever anybody else casts a spell, it does boost up your damage a little bit. So 2 of them. I'm going to include a Mythic in this team, and the reason is because ordinarily if you don't have the Mythics I'm going to suggest, then stick in another Judge of the Dead if you can. So you'd have, like, ideally, if you haven't got any Mythics, you'd have 3 of them, and you can pick these up from Hell Gate in the Underworld. If you don't have this troop, or if you don't have 2 or 3 of them, you can pick some mods up from Hell Gate. So you can pop over there and do that. So again, if you don't have Wolf Garrock or one of these other Mythics from here, because there are some other ones which are actually pretty good for this. Lunar Relian, if you got it, obviously does huge amount of damage to all. That is absolutely worth sticking in. That's going to just huge amount of damage, absolutely fantastic. And also a lot of fun as well is the Midwinter Lichen, dealing damage to all as well, and creating a mix of 16 curse and freeze gems, and also inflicting freeze and terror on a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. So if you don't have Wolf Garrock, there are other options for that, but I'm going with this team because it just works really well. We've got our damage to all options there on those 2, which are opposite colours to the weapon we're going to use. And the weapon does damage to an enemy boosted by Wargear allies, which is the whole team, then creates a mix of 6 green and red for each Wargear ally. So that's going to create a load of green and red for Wolf Garrock, who does damage to an enemy boosted by Wargear allies. Again, that's the whole team. And if one dies, then devour the other one. So basically, you can get 2 kills for the price of 1. And if you cast one of these first, it's going to soften them up, if they're not dead already, for Wolf Garrock to finish off. So yeah, simple team. But can be a lot of fun, I think. Just going to go with a +2 purple banner for this. Keep it simple. Use all the colours. I'm going to be in Warden class. Fairly decent class. Gain 3 attack when an ally dies is a bit rubbish, but allied beasts gain 2 life is meh. And all allies gain 5 armour is better than a kick in the whatsits. Talent trees are okay though. Hunt is pretty decent. Hunters mark a random enemy on 4 or 5 of a kind, which we'll be doing a lot with that weapon. These are irrelevant, unfortunately, not using any of these. Root Trap, though, always useful to entangle the first enemy at the start of battle. Nature's Aura, create a Leaf Storm at the start is pretty good, or you can have Razor Armor if you so prefer, or even backup. Why not? Any of them is pretty handy. All green allies gain 5 armor is alright, or you could have Savior, your preference. Banishment, always handy. Dispel all enemies on 4 or 5 gem matches. That takes away positive status effects like, excuse me, enchant and barrier, things like that. Very, very good indeed. And Harvest Moon, all the Wargear allies gain 2 life every turn. So yeah, very straightforward. Let's jump in and give it a quick whirl. Always equip the medal when it says to do so, otherwise you're going to be missing out. And so find a slot. We want a couple of niches for this. Don't care about Medal of Anu, but the Potion of Enchantment and the explosion at the start, that is going to be plenty quick enough. And pop in our badge, which will eventually be upgraded to the medal. So we're looking for purple if we can. Get our judges up straight away. There's enchant, there's the explosion, there's the purple. In the early stages, that is it. Really, really quick and easy. Oh, and we've got the Elder Dragon already to fight. That is nice. Always fight the highest value troop if you can. More points means more prizes in a funny sort of way when you pick up the rewards. So again, purple, going to make this very, very straightforward in the early stages. Kaboosh them all out of there. No hanging around. This one's the next value one. Next highest value points. Slimy tentacle head. Again, just grab ourselves some purple. Enchant means we're ready the next round anyway. Yes, the early stages are going to be very, very straightforward. So let's skip forward to something a little bit harder. Well, jump forward to the Elder Dragon on level 172 to show how we go about this when things get tougher. But taking it one stage further as well in a kind of way, because I've still got the token or the badge thing only on the badge level, so I'm only getting 40% skull and spell damage. When you get this 160% skull and spell damage, the damage is going to be 4 times more and will happen a heck of a lot quicker. But just showing how we go about this if you're still on a low level damage regarding the spell, because it is important to actually cast these in the right order at this point, because you need to get both Judges of the Dead up, otherwise you're mana blocking one with the other one. And also Wolfgarok, you have to be a little bit careful with this, because with this enemy here, for example, it's immune to Devour. So if you killed somebody with Wolfgarok and that Devour attempts to go on to, say, this one here, it won't work because it's immune to Devour. Just check that anybody's immune to Devour or not and make sure you target them with the damage from Wolfgarok. So let's see how we go about this. So even at my level, still going to have to multicast this a couple of times. But it will change, of course, when that lovely medal comes along. So let's get ourselves some brown or purple. Or not, because there's none there. That's nice of it. But hey, the enemy's created some purple for us, which is rather nice. So we'll grab some of that. This is where we can cast our ghost thing first. Ghost? Judge of the Dead twice. Now let's target that bottom troop with the weapon. This is where you have to check you're going to kill it with Wolfgarok, but we're not. So basically we have to leave that there for a minute. Do some more damage to all with our Judge of the Dead first. Of course, like if you've got Lunarellian or Midwinter Lycan in the team, then that's going to make things happen even quicker. Let's do that damage. They died anyway, so let's just finish somebody off. Oh, and they got that cheeky summon. But still works pretty well. We're just going to collect mana to finish off. The game's being slightly annoying, but it does that. Likes to be annoying sometimes. Crikey. It's even being annoying now on my colours. There you go, a bit of Hunter's Mark Skull Passage for ya. Yeah, you do that, and I'll do that. Whew. Right, one more, because I just do want to show one last thing as well. Let's just do this Uvesh car thing. Like I said earlier, you can swap out a couple of the troops if you like. Lunarellian is really good. That'd be a really good swap for Wolfgarok. Or Midwinter Lycan as well. Both do damage to all with extra bonuses. Do like that Icy Terror. But if you do go for Midwinter Lycan, or would actually change the weapon for the Wolfhammer, because it does that damage and then creates that mix of blue and green, which basically is what Midwinter Lycan uses. So make sure you change over for that. So let's do this last battle, and we'll call the world event video a day and move on to the Underspire team. That would have been a nice start there if it wasn't for the Potion of Explosion, basically ruining things, which is what it does sometimes. But hey, you can't have it all your own way all the time, even though it would be nice too. But hey, right, so what am I looking for? Anything. It's been mean to me on purple and brown again. Just going to do this just because I feel like it. And say kaboosh to the Lavia. And now on to the Underspire team. But don't forget to swap their medal back, because obviously that medal you get in the world event is no good for this. So I've swapped it for a medal of Anu, because we don't get a particularly quick start with this team. You don't get the potion of enchantment like we do in the world event. So we'll, oops, pressed the wrong thing there. Actually, this is a good chance to show something quickly, because for the first time, and maybe continuing onwards, I don't think I'm going to bother with the upgraded pass for this, because I kind of realised that the Immortals are not a waste of money. They're okay, but the extra goodness you get from them regarding the extra rewards for me is not really worth. I think it's $11.99 in UK money for these, because you only use them in PvP, and if you're a player like me who's got most of the other, well, you've got pretty much all the other troops which are relevant, then you don't actually really need this. It is only relevant for PvP. Like, you can use them in other modes, but they lose a lot of their power, because you get the main benefit when they get that double effect if they're in their kingdom where they get that double damage, for example, like this one. So unless you're really serious about PvP, which I'm not, I mean, I'll do my Citadel Wars battles and pretty much that's it. I don't really care about PvP much anymore since this new change. It's just a little bit uninteresting to me now. But yeah, just don't really care about the Immortals that much anymore. I mean, they're alright, but because they're only relevant in PvP, or the vast majority of what they do is only good in PvP, then yeah, I'm not actually that fussed. So yeah, let me know. Do you buy the upgraded pass, or like me, you're not actually that bothered about the Immortal stuff anymore, because it's only relevant mainly for PvP. Right, so anyway, on to the Underspire team. Let's take a quick look at this. Same restriction, so Morgrim Woods restriction, so pretty much the same as World Event, apart from we don't get the bonuses in the Skull and Spell damage. So I'm just going to show you the variant of this using the Midwinter Lycan and the Wolfhammer. So same deal as before, damage to wall from 2 of our troops, but the Wolfhammer has damage to a single target, then creates a mix of 6 blue and green for each Morgrim Woods ally, and Midwinter Lycan uses blue and green and does damage to all, and those 4 matches are going to activate that Icy Terror, inflict freeze and terror on a random enemy when matching 4 or more gems. Now this can be really effective. I've used this troop before, and in a team like this where you get a lot of those 4 matches, the whole enemy team can be basically terrorized really quickly, and that means there's always one at the bottom, which means there's a chance one can run away every single round. It won't happen on this set of battles, because basically the enemy's not high enough level. So we're just going to concentrate on brown or purple if we can. You can even pop a Judge of the Dead to the top in the early stages. That'd be a quicker way to go about it. If Midwinter Lycan gets there first, then Midwinter Lycan gets there first. Not really looking at what I'm collecting, actually. Should be paying more attention. We'll get that because it's there, and we'll do a bit of that. But yeah, I do like the Midwinter Lycan. It's actually a pretty good troop. Right, let's get our free lantern. People are wondering how I've got so many lanterns. It's because basically I get the free one every week, but I've had very little time to actually go through Underspire on a constant basis. Busy doing other things, so Underspire's sat there doing nothing most of the time. Even though the rewards are very good if you've got enough time to go through it all and spend 1,000 or so gems getting stuff done. But yeah, Midwinter Lycan gets charged up pretty quick in this thing. Judge of the Dead was ready as well. So this is going to work really well, I think. Yeah, the rewards in Underspire are decent if you can go all the way through. Cost of around 1,000 gems, that's an extra turn. And it is worth it if you've got the time. But yeah, what have we got? We've got any brown? We've got any purple? Oh, didn't get a mana splurge though. Annoying. Might as well get that. Double blue. And Midwinter Lycan is stealing the show right now away from the Judge of the Dead. But yeah, 2 fairly easy teams to use for the world event and Underspire. Oh, grab some of that. See if we get green, purple, the green format, which we didn't. All good. Get that though, because Midwinter Lycan is up ready. Yeah, Midwinter Lycan gets charged pretty quickly in this team because it's the only one using its particular colours. gets first dibs on blue, green or yellow, which is why it's getting charged so quickly. But like I say though, there is the option to pop Judge of the Dead to the top on the early stages if you want to make sure you get things done nice and quickly. This would be a lot of mana, and it steals the show again. He's hogging the limelight. He, she, it, them. In case I have stupid pronouns. When's going to get to the stage when animals want pronouns? Because surely they must. They must feel left out. Anyway, not going down that road. What did people do before these kind of daft rules existed? How did they survive? These things are relatively new. But now everyone acts like they can't live without their pronoun. I find it bizarre myself, but that's a different discussion entirely. As someone said somewhere once, there were two genders. If you got found on a field, dead, and you've got a female lower half, a VJ, you're a girl. If you've got sausage, you're a boy. You're male or female. It's as simple as that. And with that, I say farewell. Goodbye.